Hello there everyone and welcome to a video here on FM Scout by myself, Omega Luke, and today we are going to look at the top 20 Wonder Kids from England. Now this is always a very popular talking point whenever a new Football Manager game comes out because, well, a lot of you guys are English and a lot of the youngsters on the game that come through that are good Wonder Kids tend to be English as well. And so it is my pleasure to give you the 20 best players based on their potential rating through the Football Manager database. So just in case you're wondering how it basically works, they have a current ability and a potential ability. These 20 guys, and I'm going to do them in order from 20 to 1, have the best potential from the nation of England. So let's start with number 20. And a place which I did not think we would go is Guiseley, but this guy is on loan from Sheffield United. He is a goalkeeper by the name of Marcus Dewhurst. Not bad stats whatsoever, but there we go. A young goalkeeper to start off with this list. Coming in at number 19 is Bukayo Saka from Arsenal, a very good 17-year-old winger. I've seen in the future this guy be an incredible player already on this game, so maybe one that you look to pick up in your early saves, or maybe if you're Arsenal, someone you look to bring through into the first team quite soonish. With some game time, this guy can be a real player. Sticking at Arsenal though is Emile Smith-Rowe. I'm playing in the same position, 1 year older. This guy can play right across the midfield and even up front. You probably have heard of him already because he has played a couple of games for the first team for Arsenal, valued at 20 million, so he is quite expensive at the start of the game. However, he is classed as a Wonder Kid, but with stats like that for the age of 18, it's understandable why. So Emile Smith-Rowe is another great option for an Arsenal save. Down to the Championship then, and in 17th place is Nohan Kenna. This centre defensive midfielder is classed as a promising midfielder by the media, and I can see some potential in his stats there. Just 16 years of age, so you've got plenty of time to develop in. From the Leeds Academy, this guy is a great prospect for the future and has an incredibly good potential ability. So it's well worth using him to try and max out that potential. One of the most famous players on this list now, simply because of a few YouTube clips in the under-18s and making his debut last year in the Scottish Premier League, is Karamoko Dembele. He is in fact English, which I did not know until the start of this game. Playing through the Celtic Academy, a very good right midfielder in the future. 16 years old, he starts off the game. That great determination, which is always a massive attribute to have, to be a 15 and above definitely when you're looking to build a Wonder Kid. So this guy has the potential to do it as well. So why not try him in your side if you can purchase him, if you have a spare few coins to get him. Karamoko Dembele. Another guy with a lot of hype right now is Jude Bellingham, and 15 years old. He may be the youngest player on this list, being born in 2003. Jude Bellingham is a centre midfielder who can play across that back, the front line, in behind the striker, and can play as a striker as well. Maybe that might be a position you look to improve him in, because he already has 12 finishing. He has great pace as it stands, good determination. He could be a very good player in the future if he is used correctly with this high potential. Gets into the opposition area is a very good player trait to have, and gets forward whenever possible as that centre attacker mid role. Would be very interesting to see how Jude Bellingham would get on in any save. Back to Arsenal, and for a team who a few years ago everyone used to complain didn't have enough English talent in it, they certainly have a lot of youngsters coming through who are English Wonder Kids. Rhys Nelson is the next one. On this right hand side, left hand side, he can play across both wings and central going forward. He has outstanding technical abilities, great physical abilities. Those mentals aren't too bad either. And for 19 years of age, he's £20 million is his value. Sort of a fringe player right now at the Arsenal squad in real life. He could be someone who you look at to purchase for the future. Or again, if you're Arsenal, you've got a lot of youngsters there to use. Rhys Nelson is one of those players that may develop into a wonder kid for your save. In 13th place now, someone who's really broke onto the scene after his incredible season down in the Championship with Derby County is Mason Mount. Breaking into the English team, the first team this year, the 20-year-old has outstanding stats really and attributes for this first season at Chelsea. He's classed as a squad player, and I did highlight him in the future 5-year wonder kid video that I did last week as one of those players who turn into an absolute beast. He has the potential, he has the great stats already to prove it. You just need to make the most out of young Mason Mount. But in 12th place now, one of my favourite players on this list is Morgan Gibbs-White from Wolves. He's valued at 11 million, so maybe he is achievable to get. But I think he already has great stats to start off in many of these Premier League teams. He is a centre midfielder. 5'7" is a little worrying, but he does have the acceleration, the agility and the pace to get around the pitch anyway. Great passing, great technique, good vision. Has very well-rounded stats. He's 19 years old. I think Morgan Gibbs-White could be one of the players who I will look to buy in a lot of my saves, and maybe he will be that player for you as well. Next on the list, Declan Rice, a player who really broke onto the scene last year, and he does this year get onto the top 20 wonder kid list. Outside of the top 10 though, which I was quite surprised with, Declan Rice, of course the West Ham midfielder, is classed as a wonder kid. He has outstanding mental stats already for a player of just 20 years of age. The physicals aren't bad either. Those technicals will grow in the future. Declan Rice at 6'1" is a very powerful midfielder, a holding midfielder who could improve a lot of sides on this game. Off to Merseyside now as we have Rhian Brewster. The 19-year-old striker has great stats already for the Liverpool under-23s as he is in right now. However, in a few years' time, with the potential that he has and a little bit of gameplay, he could be a main star striker in any side in the Premier League. He already has great pace. He has good finishing too. The mental stats are almost quite good as well for a starting player. He likes to move into channels, beats the offside trap, which is one of my favourite traits to have on a striker, especially one with pace. Rhian Brewster, I like the look of him, definitely do. In 9th place though, another striker and another player from the Arsenal youth side. However, he is on loan at Leeds as their regular striker, so we will get the game time. It's Eddie Nketiah, and this guy has already scored quite a lot of goals for Leeds, if I'm not mistaken, in the Championship. He has outstanding pace, great off the ball as well, not bad finishing. He could be a great starting player if you choose to be Leeds in the Championship save. If not, and you can get him away from Arsenal early on and start giving him a lot of game time, Eddie Nketiah has the potential to be a very good striker on this game, and he's English, so any Premier League sides, that homegrown talent, Eddie Nketiah will be your pacey option to choose. So I like the look of him as well. In 8th place, Angel Gomes, a player who I'm quite surprised is this high up. 18 years of age at Manchester United. He plays in that centre attacking midfielder role. However, he can play on the left or the right, even in centre midfield or up front. A very versatile midfielder. Unbelievable flair, 20 flair. He has great pace, agility, natural fitness and pace. The physicals are very good. Mentals will need building around that 20 flair, and the technicals, other than dribbling, will need to improve. His passing and technique isn't that bad either, as well as first touch. However, with some game time, he has the potential to be outstanding, but I have seen him drip off very poorly without the game time. That is the most important thing with Angel Gomes, is that game time. The most important thing with a lot of wonder kids is that game time. If you don't give these guys the game time, they never reach the potential that they have been given on this database. Back then to the Liverpool's under-18s, and we have Harvey Elliott. They purchased the guy from Fulham after his great debut last season. He is another winger. We've seen a lot of wingers and strikers already. And he hasn't got bad stats, don't get me wrong, but he is only 16 years of age. So there's an extra few years on a lot of these players to grow into a world-class player. He has the potential to do it, like we say, but he needs to grow. Not bad physicals for his age. I'd expect a little bit better pace, hopefully, when he develops. Left-footed, which is very interesting, as his main role is this right-hand side, so more of an inside forward. He has good dribbling, good first touch, not bad passing, great technique and good flair. So Harvey Elliott could be an option for you for a long-term future on your save of Football Manager. Now we have the first defender on the list now in 6th place, and that is Max Aarons. One of my favourite wonder kids on this game, one of my favourite defenders from last year's game. Max Aarons is back, and he is even better than FM19 Max Aarons. He already has the physical stats to be there. He's 19 years of age. He's playing in the Premier League as a regular starter. So Max Aarons on this right hand side can play on the left, even can play in centre midfield if you really need him to. He has not bad passing stats, but I think the right back position suits him perfectly. He has the outstanding physicals which you would expect, but he also has very good crossing ability, which may improve. He has the very good mental attributes for a right back, and the passing, marking, tackling, all the things that you'd expect from a good fullback, he has abundance of. He likes to get forward whenever possible, so the overlap option may be on with him, and he plays short, simple passes too. So a lot of people may look for Max Aarons in their save in the Premier League as a right back in the future. Breaking into the top 5 then is a player who somehow never went to Bayern Munich last year, Calum Hudson-Odoi. And anyone who is deciding to do the Chelsea save where they have the transfer embargo may look to use this player quite often during their squad rotations. 18 years old, he is classed already as a wonder kid under the media description. Has outstanding flair, acceleration, agility. That dribbling and first touch is very good indeed, as well as that technique. He likes to try tricks, which is a new player trait on this save, and I really like that player trait as well. He can play on both sides as well as up front. Calum Hudson-Odoi, one of the most famous names on this list. He is already on 120k a week, which I find quite fascinating for an 18-year-old. So it's going to be hard to prize him away from Chelsea. You're going to have a lot of money. But Calum Hudson-Odoi may turn into one of those unbelievable wingers that you see in 5 years' time of the game. One of those sort of players. But in 4th place now, probably the most established player on this list, maybe second most established, but we'll get there anyway, is a 20-year-old fullback, Trent Alexander-Arnold. He really shone in last year's Champions League campaign, obviously, in that match, that massive comeback against Barcelona. And Trent Alexander-Arnold for the Liverpool squad as a regular starter, £42 million he is worth already. And it's easy to see why. Unbelievable stats wherever you look. I don't have to go through them. You can see the greens already. He is a fantastic player on this game. An attacking fullback. I really like the look of Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I think you do too. In 3rd place is the other player I was alluding to that already has established stats, Jadon Sancho, the only player on this list playing outside of the UK. He is, of course, playing for Borussia Dortmund. They signed him from Manchester City a couple of years ago. And, well, he has absolutely shone in the Bundesliga with an abundance of goals and assists. And he will do on Football Manager too. He's valued at 27 million as a regular starter, 105k a week. So you're going to have a lot of money to prize him away from Dortmund. But if you do, or you choose to be Dortmund, he could be your main goal threat for a long time. Class as a wonder kid. Outstanding acceleration, agility, pace, unbelievable dribbling and first touch. The mental stats are there as well for this 19-year-old. A great player to have in your arsenal. In 2nd place, a player being heralded by Pep Guardiola as one of the most talented players on the planet is Phil Foden. And it's easy to see why as you look at his Football Manager stats. great player. Already we're seeing what Phil Foden can do in real life in the small bursts of play that we see him have. And even just from last year, Phil Foden was one of those wonder kids on FM19. And at FM20, he is even better, I think, and will grow into an even better player. It's going to be hard to pull him away from Manchester City, but if you manage to, he will be your main centre attacking midfielder for a long time. But coming in at number 1 with the highest potential for an Englishman is in fact Mason Greenwood. And I did not think it would be Mason, although he has had an outstanding season last year in the Manchester United under-18s team and finally breaking into the Manchester United first team. He hasn't had the best starts in the Premier League, however he scored some goals here and there. On Football Manager 2020, he has the highest potential for an Englishman. Already you would class him as a regular starter for a lot of Premier League sides. So if you manage to get him on loan or you manage to buy him from Manchester United, which is going to cost you a lot of money, you could start him, you could give him the game time that he needs to turn into one of those legendary strikers that you see in 10, 15 years time. 17 years old, he has great stats to begin with, and he will get better and better with the highest potential from any Englishman on Football Manager 2020. So I hope you enjoyed this list. Is there anyone who you are surprised did not make the cut for the top 20 Englishman wonder kids on this game, or anyone who you think has the potential to be the next best thing maybe on next year's game? Let us know down in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, drop it a like and make sure you're subscribed for all of the plenty of videos we are bringing you every day here on FM Scout throughout the beta and when the full game is released. If you're looking for some Let's Play action, you can head on over to my channel, Omega Luke Gaming. I'm currently doing an AC Milan save throughout the beta, and here on after, I will have a bit of a journeyman save regarding certain countries as a stipulation that I'm only allowed to manage in. So if that sounds like fun, come on over and join me. I'd love to have you. Maybe drop me a subscribe and support my channel as well as Football Manager Scout. And I shall see you on the next video for some more Football Manager 2020. Bye bye.